Hello and welcome to the Bold North Breakdown here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Glen Ritter, and I got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Back after had a Wednesday show last week, and so it's great to be back on here on my regular Thursday night. 7 o'clock, got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of things happening in the world of sports here in Minnesota. Yeah, let's see. We've had the Wolves sent the Lakers packing from the playoffs, sent them off to Cancun. That was awesome last night. I stayed up to watch the very end of that game, and it was awesome to watch. So I'm going to talk a lot about that. That's the reason I got my Wolves jersey on. Let's see. We've also got the playoffs going on with the Wild. They're taking on Vegas right now, down 1-0 already in the first period. Gave up a power play goal to Petrangelo, I believe, who scored for them. Going to talk about the Vikings roster moves that they made over the weekend. They had the draft last weekend, and then signed some undrafted free agents. Just kind of looking at where some of those guys are going to fit here next year for the Vikings is always going to be good to check out. Looking forward to talking about that, and then we'll chat a little bit about the Twins, so we're gonna go through all of those things, and then we're just gonna go through all of that stuff, and then if you're on, make sure you hop in the chats, send me messages. Love to hear from anybody out there watching. If you've got any comments or questions about any of those teams, let me know what you're thinking about, and we'll chat about it. We really want to make sure that this is an interactive show. I'll be right back. Let you keep listening to my little intro music here, and I'll be right back.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the Bold North Breakdown here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Glen Ritter, here on the Bold North Breakdown. Make sure you check out all of our sponsors. Planet Jerky beef jerky is absolutely fantastic. I just ordered some right before my show started. I need to get another supply. It is premium brisket beef jerky. Absolutely fantastic. Go to planetjerky.net and get yourself some. I keep some here at home and then some in my desk at work. So it is absolutely fantastic. Unless you're a vegetarian, I think you'll love it. Also, if you're looking for some workout gear, go to Vital Apparel. They do a great job. Use the promo code IESR and receive a 15% discount on your order. They've got great, comfortable athletic wear. And then also part of the proceeds go to mental health, which is obviously a huge issue in our country right now, and has been. We're learning more about it. In fact, I was just listening to Chris Hockey yesterday at a work meeting. I spoke to a bunch of food service directors and has just had a great message about mental health. And so, first of all, check out Chris Hockey. He's on the KFAN morning show. He's in a few different bands, and he's also is the producer for the Vikings radio network shows through KFAN. So anyway, check them out. And then Seal the Deal Wax Seals. So if you've got some invitations going on that you're sending out, weddings, birthday parties, baby showers, anything like that, and you want to send out invitations or thank you cards or whatever afterward, you go to Cecilia B's Seal the Deal Wax Wax Seals on Facebook or on Instagram, Seal the Deal Wax _wax stamps on Instagram. You can order some of those. And then also, again, be sure to follow everybody here on the IE Sports Radio Network. Follow us on X, YouTube. My X handles right there are on the screen. You can find my show handle is Bold North _IESR, or you can see my my private or my personal Twitter handle is Gritter13. Look for either one, and you'll always see comments from me as I'm watching sporting events, things like that. So yes, and speaking of sporting events, one that I was watching last night was awesome. Was the Timberwolves game. It was a thing of beauty. I love how before this the series started, so many people were projecting the Lakers to win, and win in 5. I mean, ESPN, there's a list of 10 analysts that all said the same thing. Lakers in 5, Lakers in 6, Lakers in 7, and nobody really gave the Timberwolves a shot to win that. But I know that Taryn Rodriguez, who's the host of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, he and I kind of bantered back and forth a little bit after the Game 1 win by the Timberwolves. Because he was pretty adamant that the Lakers are going to win, and why not? I mean, they had Luka Doncic and LeBron James, two of the greatest players in the game right now. But the one thing that I knew about the Timberwolves that not your average NBA fan knows is just how deep the team is. They've got 8 players that could be starters on other teams, in addition to the 5 starters that, Mike Conley at the point, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. Good starting 5. And then off the bench, you've got guys like Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Dante DiVincenzo. Again, all 3 of those guys can come in and do whatever is needed to help win the series, win a game or win the series. So they ended up last night was Game 5. The Wolves beat the to win the series 4-1 for Game 4. The one thing that I just love though is Anthony Edwards during this whole series was he was not afraid of the big moment. He wasn't afraid to face go head to head with LeBron. I don't know if you guys saw the little shoving match, a little bit between the two of them, and I think it was in Game 3, probably in Game 3, Game 4. I mean, anytime that Anthony Edwards was trying to guard LeBron or was on LeBron, because he can play defense on anybody, but when he was in there, just getting in his face, he was not afraid of anybody. So he loves the big stage. Last playoff season, he knocked out Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is his idol, and was not ashamed about getting in his face or anything like that. Second round, knocked out Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. This series, they knock out LeBron James and Luka. After Luka and Kyrie knocked out the Timberwolves last playoff season. But for him to just really step up and get into the face of these legends and not feel like the moment is too big for him was just fantastic to watch. So, and as I mentioned, the Wolves won in 5. Last night's game was ugly in a lot of ways. I think this is the first time in NBA playoff history that a team like the Timberwolves shot as bad as they did from three, going 7 of 47 to shoot that bad of a percentage. This is the first time that the team shooting that bad of a percentage has won the game. When you're shooting like that, usually that ends up in a loss. Unfortunately, or fortunately for the Wolves, Rudy Gobert had the game of his life, which was fantastic to watch. He had 27 points, 24 rebounds, 2 blocks, altered a bunch of other shots. The Lakers had absolutely no big man to do anything with them. And the thing was, earlier on in the series, like the 27 points that he scored was more than he had scored in the previous 4 games combined. He really hadn't been a factor at all in the playoffs. And so to see the way that he was able to come out, he had 9 offensive rebounds. Yeah, I mean, just to do all of those things, and for the Lakers not to have an answer. Like, they just didn't have anybody. The one guy that they had, Jackson Hayes, starting at center initially for the first 4 games, didn't play a minute last night. The only center that they had that they played was Maxi Kleber, and he played 4 minutes. He's the only guy with any size that really played last night, and he hadn't played. He'd missed 43 straight games. He hadn't played at all in the series, and this is the first time he gets out on the court is in Game 5. A win or go home game for the Lakers, and that was the first time that he was put out on the floor. Game 4 was a really interesting game. That one being over the weekend on what day was that? I think it was on Saturday. What do you think? No, it probably would have been Sunday. It was on Sunday. And JJ Redick played all 5 players in the second half, just 5 guys. He didn't make one substitution after halftime. And the one thing about the series was, over the course of the series, the Wolves outscored the Lakers in the fourth quarter 127-85. So every single game, by the time they got to the fourth quarter, these guys were just tired. The Lakers had no bench whatsoever. They played some guys, but just really didn't have anybody that they could rely on. Austin Reeves had a rough series. He didn't really, especially last night's game, he didn't really didn't score much. Rui Hachimura was fantastic last night. He had 23 points, was 5 of 8 from 3. He was the guy that was keeping the Lakers in the game. If the Timberwolves had shot even at their season average, it should have been a 25-point victory for the Wolves instead of the 103-96 victory that it was. But Hachimura, I mean, he was hitting some threes. I think he may have hit the shot to give the Lakers the lead in the fourth quarter before Anthony Edwards came back into the game and took over and stuff. But actually, Anthony Edwards had a pretty bad game though too. Can't really even say that he took over, because it was more Julius Randle was the one that really helped out and was a calming influence for the Timberwolves. When they needed a bucket, he was very calm, collected, making the right play. He finished with 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. And again, it was just a steady influence. So when things got close, he'd get the ball and would work his way into a spot where he could nail the shot, and he hit it every single time, or just about every time anyway. Hit some threes, even again since the team only hit 7 threes the whole game. Anthony Edwards is 0 for 11 from those of those 47 threes. So again, like I said, Anthony Edwards did not have a great game, but he was still drawing a lot of attention and dishing the ball out to his teammates. but yeah, it was a little rough to watch. It reminded me a lot of Game 2, to be honest, which was the one game that the Lakers did win. But anyway, like I said, it was. I think it's funny that everybody was picking the Lakers to win. Again, I understand the thought process. You got guys like Luka and LeBron, but when you get guys like Shannon Sharp going, whatever, OKC, KFC, UFC, Lakers in 5, right? Whatever. It's like Timberwolves, Werewolves, whatever. Going Cancun in 5, right? that's what's going on. The Lakers are just, they're done. And again, I understand they are not built. They weren't really built. That Luka trade was not for this season. It was to give them the face of the franchise for the future. So they do have a great future. Just need to build around it. I know that they had traded for Mark Williams from, I believe it was from Charlotte or the Pelicans. I can't remember which team it was, but anyway, he failed the physical. So they didn't have that big man, and he would have been the perfect big man, similar to the guys that Luka had with the Mavericks. You're having a big man that he can throw lobs to. It just frees up the Luka to score a little bit better. It was rough to see him go down and have those back issues, but it didn't affect him offensively. Defensively, yeah, he went from bad to worse. I mean, he's never a good defensive player, but boy, he was just somebody that the Timberwolves targeted every single time that they faced him. So that when he was on the court, that's who they would target. And whether it was in Randall's hands or Anthony Edwards' hands, they would always set picks to make sure that Luka was on the ball handler, and then either drive past them or force a double team, because when Anthony Edwards had the ball, there were 2 guys coming at him. So if Luka was right in front of him, then there were 2 others, coming to double team him, depending on which way he would go around Luka. And it was he just kept finding the right guy. The tough part was they weren't hitting the threes. I mean, they were shooting a bunch of threes, and Wolves were getting a lot of those rebounds though too. The 9 offensive rebounds for Rudy Gobert definitely helped out. Anyway, so Wolves in 5. Now let's see. Okay, who are they going to play in the next round? So right now they're going to be playing the winner of the Golden State Warriors Houston Rockets series. Houston, being the number 2 seed, has the home court advantage, but they're down 3-2 right now. Game 6 is going to be back in San Francisco. Golden State's going to be having that home game on Friday night, so they get the chance to close out that series and send Houston home for the rest of the playoffs. So if that happens, the Wolves will be the they'll have home court advantage in the next round of the playoffs, which is kind of crazy as the number 6 seed. But again, the Western Conference this year was so crazy with from 2 to 8, like all the teams are separated by 2 games. So everybody's got a shot to win. The Warriors definitely scare me more than the Lakers did, just because having Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green on that same team, all 3 of those guys are going to put in a ton of effort. And then they've got some role players as well that get involved. Jonathan Kuminga, Poledzik, I think that's how his name's pronounced. They've got some other guys that can do some things. And Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry have a strong desire to win. So I have a feeling that's going to be a bit of a challenge. But we'll see but Houston could come back and win the last two, and then the Wolves would go on the road against Houston. And any team is going to be tough. Like I've said all season long, the Wolves can beat and they can lose to every single team in the league. As I know that they lost to the Wizards, who have the first or have the highest odds in the lottery. I believe so with the Jazz. So not a very good team, and Wolves lost to them. So again, if they're staying focused, they can beat any team in the league. Whether they can beat them in a 7-game series, that's another story altogether. But I know that they could, when they're clicking, they can beat anybody. So we'll see what happens there with that. I'm going to be anxiously watching tomorrow night's game with Golden State and Houston, just to see, if how that goes, because Houston won the last one and won it fairly handily. So we'll see how that goes. So really excited, looking forward to that. So let's take a quick break here. I'll be right back here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Lava.
And we're the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That gives you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter at any time. Be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right. Welcome back to the Bold North Breakdown here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Make sure you check out those other shows, okay? You got the Fast Break. The guys cover all things basketball. Great show every Sunday. Great great to just chat with them and get to know their shows. And then the Sin City Sports with Cale Henderson. Again, another great show. Handles all things Las Vegas, Arizona kind of related. And so check those guys out. Before I get into my next subject, I do have a comment in here. So from my little sister, she wants to know what's the Wolves equivalent to Skol. Everybody is Minnesota sports fan. You know, the Skol is the Vikings chant, right? Which I know that those guys in Wisconsin and Chicago area don't like. I don't know. Is it just a howl? Is it just a howl? I don't know. Let me know if anybody else has a better answer than that here in the chat. And Lynn, great to see you on here. Apparently, I forgot to tell her that I've been doing this for about 3 months now. Started in early January, and it's May 1st, almost 4 months now. Anyway, great to have you on, Lynn. And again, if anybody has an answer to that, please let me know. Anyway, so the Wild do have an update here. The score is, after the first intermission, score's tied at 1 now. So that's good. They're playing Vegas pretty tough. Even in their losses. So right now they're down 3-2 to Vegas. Last week's show, when I did that, it was a 1-1 series. So I think they had the Wild had won game 2 5-2. So they did pretty well. Then they beat them in game 3 5-2 again to take a 2-1 lead. And then unfortunately games 4 and 5 they lost in overtime. One was 4-3. The next one was 3-2. So during those games there was a little bit of controversy, I guess, a little bit in my mind anyway. So the first of all, the game on Saturday, where they lost 4-3 in overtime. The game was tied at 2, and there was Thomas Hurdle and Hartman got kind of got into a little bit of a tussle, like right in front of the goal. They both go down to the ice. I thought Hurdle tackled Hartman, but no penalty was called. As they're both laying there on the ice, Mark Stone shoots the puck off of Hurdle, off his leg, and into the net. Because if you can kind of picture, off to Gustafson's right is where Stone is. Both Hurdle and Hartman are on the ice in front, and to the left of Gustafson. The puck gets passed off of his leg, and then it goes just right past the goalie. So they gave him a 3-2 lead. Jared Spurgeon, thankfully, answered back less than a minute later to tie the game and win it overtime, and unfortunately was not able to pull out the victory in that game. Then on that would have been Saturday. So then Monday night, they faced off again. 2-2 game going in just before overtime, towards the end of regulation. Hartman scores a goal against the Golden Knights, but then the play was reviewed for an offside by Gustav Nyquist, and it was I think initially they were reviewing it for from what I gathered, because I was not able to stay up late to watch this game, but I believe they were reviewing it for like goalie interference. And then once it was determined that it wasn't, they had time to kind of review the footage and challenged the offside call. It was kind of controversial because you couldn't really get a good look from the replays that I saw, but maybe it's my Wild fandom blinding me a bit. But it was ruled that Nyquist was offside by about this much, about an inch. But an inch is an inch. He's offside, and that weighs off the goal. So, unfortunately, they didn't get that game, the goal to take the lead late in regulation and hopefully hang on. But and then in overtime, I can't remember who it was that scored for Vegas, but they scored in overtime on Marc-Andre Fleury, who had to come into the game because Philip Gustafsson had to leave with an illness. So he wasn't able to finish the game. So Fleury came in. They played pretty well in front of him. I think I was listening on the radio to Lou Nanny when he was on my drive home one of these days this week, talking about how I think Fleury didn't get a shot at, they didn't have a shot on goal on him for like 13 minutes because the defense was playing so well in front of him. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game finishes up because it's win or go home tonight. And like I said, they've been playing really well against the Golden Knights, and nobody really gave them much of a chance. I didn't give them much of a chance, but I do remember early on in the season, they were playing really, really well to start out the year. And the guys who were playing really well for the Wild are Matt Boldy and Kirill Kaprizov, who were playing, and Kirill Kaprizov, especially at the beginning of the season, was fantastic. And he was just, he was putting up points like Hart Award winning level numbers until he got hurt. And so unfortunately he missed most of the season after that. Still was, I think, one of the top point scorers for the Wild this season, which is kind of crazy, for a guy that's missed half the season. So now in the playoffs, he's stepped it up. He's been scoring a lot. Matt Boldy has scored a ton of goals and playing really, really well. The challenge is Vegas just has they have so much more depth than the Wild do. When I look at their roster, even though they're one of the leading scorers is missing tonight, Dorofeyev, 24-year-old winger for them. I think he was one of their top goal scorers. He's out tonight. Well, I'm not sure exactly why, but he was not going to be playing in tonight's game. But even that, they have 4 lines, so 12 forwards that can all score. The Wild don't. They have some guys. Their big guys are playing well this series. Like I said, Boldy, Kaprizov are really doing well. But yeah, the rest of the guys really haven't done a lot. Like I said, Hartman did score tonight, so Ryan Hartman got his first goal of the playoffs, which is great. He's been playing fantastic though. It just hasn't showed up on the score sheets. He's been hustling like he has since his suspension, when I was super hard on him because of how egregious of a play that was. He has come back in better shape. He worked hard. I think they told him, he was off for a month because of the Four Nations face-off during that suspension, and he worked his tail off and came back faster, stronger, and just has another jump in his step, which is good to see. So hopefully he can carry that on through the next through the rest of the series, and hopefully they can get out of the first round of the playoffs for the first time since 2015. I would love to see that happen. But if not, I can still say that the good points to the season were great. Were very, very good. But just with the Ryan Suter and but the Ryan Suter and cap hits. Gosh, how am I drawing a blank? Oh, and Zach Parise. The Ryan Suter and Zach Parise cap hits. Those are finally going to essentially come off the books after this season. So then they'll have some money to spend on additional players to have a little bit more depth in the forward areas. I think next season, I think they've got some really good young players in the pipeline. They finally got Zeev Bouillon into the lineup for this playoffs. He played for the first 3 games, I believe, which were his first 3 games in the NHL. He just finished up. He's a 19-year-old kid, just finished playing with Denver in the Frozen Four. Once their season ended, they got him signed. He didn't play the last regular season game because they really needed to make sure that they won that game to ensure their playoff seeding and their spot in the playoffs. So, but he came in. I think he was on the first power play unit in that first playoff game, which is fantastic. And as he continues to develop, you got Brock Faber, Jonas Brodin, Jake Middleton as the top 4 defensemen. I think that's a really solid group. They've got some other guys in the minors and other prospects that are coming up too, which are great. But then when it comes to forwards, obviously got Kaprizov and Boldy, 2 studs right there. Liam Olgren is going to be somebody that comes up, and I know a lot of people are clamoring for him to be up on the team right now. Marco Rossi got demoted down to the 4th line for the playoffs here, just because I don't think he's physically enough to get major minutes. But he during the regular season, he scored a number of goals, but playoffs are different. So I'm not sure he's got a strong future with the team, but again, we'll see what happens, what Bill Guerin decides to do in the offseason. So anyway, let's see if there's any other notes about the Wild. No, I think that's pretty much it. I'll give you a final update here before the end of the show, but in the meantime, let's take another quick break. Listen to some of the commercials from our other shows, and remember, you're watching the Bold North Breakdown here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back.
What's going on, Kansas City sports fans? I am the greatest of all time, the best in the world, but more importantly, the owner of the world, Brandon the Franchise Buck, and I am your host for the show. This is KC Sports, which you can find right here every Monday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Now, are you looking for a show that you can watch live or listen to later on that talks about the Kansas City Chiefs, the Kansas City Royals, Sporting KC, KC Current, as well as even the Kansas City Mavericks? Or do you want to listen to a show that talks about your high school sports, whether it be on the Missouri side or the Kansas City side? Let's even talk about college. Let's talk about KU. Let's talk about K-State. Let's talk about Mizzou. And let's talk about your boys' alma mater, the Pittsburgh State Gorillas. All in all, it doesn't matter. If it's Kansas City anything, we will talk about it on this show every Monday at 2 p.m. We'll talk about stuff that's happening in your area, let alone Union Station, Power and Light, T-Mobile Center. It doesn't matter. If you want to talk about it, join our segment, the Fan Interaction segment, every Monday at 2 p.m. and make sure you get your voice heard. Until then, I hope you check out the show. As always, I am the greatest of all time, the best in the world, but more importantly, the owner of the world, Brandon the Franchise Buck, and I am your host every Monday at 2 p.m. on This is KC Sports, which you can find right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Mike from Indie Sports Nation. Come hang out with me each and every Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk things Indiana sports. We talk Colts, Pacers, Fever, Indy Ignite, and we dive into the college scene as well. Boilermakers, Hoosiers, Irish, Bulldogs, and every school in between. And we don't stop there. We'll sprinkle in some NHRA and cover the IndyCar Series. From the turf to the hardwood, to the track. We got you covered. Come hang out with your boy, Big Mike, each and every Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Indie Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back to the Bold North Breakdown here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Again, check out those guys' shows. They both do a fantastic job. Got Brandon, the franchise buck for the Kansas City sports scene, and Mike, Big Mike for all things Indiana. Covers the Pacers, everything in that realm. So check those guys out. We've got 30 shows across the country. We've got people that cover just baseball, people that cover football, just basketball, hockey. We got the neutral zone. I mean, we've got all kinds of shows. Like I said, about 30 all across the country. Got every single major sports market covered. We have a new show, Shin Pads and Shenanigans, just devoted strictly to soccer. So again, got some great shows out there. Check them out. Next subject I want to talk about though tonight, and again, make sure that you throw in some comments if you've got any questions, anything you want to talk about. If you have your opinions on things, let me know. But I do want to talk about the Vikings draft weekend because, like I mentioned, I wasn't able to do my show on Thursday. I was traveling for work, and but I was in Columbus, Ohio, and definitely following along with everything that was going on over that weekend, because it was nice. The Wolves and Wild played every other night. I was able to watch a lot of the draft, so I was able to see the things that were going on with the Vikings draft, which was just awesome to try and cover and keep track of. So I did watch the first round on Thursday night. Friday night, I did watch most of the second and third round. I didn't get a chance to watch much on Saturday because that's the day I was flying back home. So, but I've got my opinion and thoughts on a lot of these guys. So I want to just kind of go through that really quick. And again, if you've got any thoughts, go ahead and throw that out there. First of all, going into the draft, the Vikings only had 4 picks to start with. They had number 24 in the draft. So in the first round pick, they had a third round pick at number 97. They had a fifth round pick at number 139, I believe, and then a sixth round pick at number 187, I believe. It was something like that. I kind of thought that maybe they would want to trade down from number 24. That was kind of my betting money going into the draft. Instead, they used that number 24 pick to select guard Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State. Love the pick. I think he's going to be a perfect fit. He's somebody that can be penciled in as the starting left guard. If not at the beginning of training camp, I would say very early into training camp, he'll probably be taking over that spot, allowing Blake Brandel to move into that kind of swing offensive lineman role where he could maybe play any of the interior positions, because I know they signed somebody to be the kind of the swing tackle. But the other thing with Jackson, though, is he can also fill in should Christian Darrisaw have a little bit of a extended recovery time. So there's some flexibility there. But I love what the Vikings are doing. They're trying to really protect J.J. McCarthy, make sure that he's got a clean pocket to throw from. He's got some good talent on the outside, which kind of brings me to the pick in the third round. Excuse me. So when they got to pick number 97, or actually, I think they were on the clock when they made that trade. So they traded down from 97 to 102. So they dropped down 5 spots. And with that, they also traded away that number 187 pick, that 6th rounder. And then was able to get, I think it was pick 140. or 142, 143, something like that. So it was a couple of picks after. Actually, might have been 140. They might have had back-to-back picks in the 5th round. I know that. So at number one. So they traded down 5 spots and then selected wide receiver Ty Felton from Maryland. About a 6 foot, 183 pound wide receiver, speedy, catches. It has good hands. I think he has some return experience, but he was somebody that wide receiver coach Keenan McArdle was really wanting to see the Vikings draft. So coming away with him, not wide receiver wasn't a huge need going into the draft, but at the same time, there wasn't a lot of huge needs because of the moves that they had made in free agency. However, with Jordan Addison's previous legal issues, there's a very good chance he might be suspended for a few games to start out the season. So having another wide receiver that can help support JJ McCarthy is going to be good. Obviously, we got Justin Jefferson on one side. Jalen Naylor is kind of that has been that number 3, and then can he step into that number 2 spot, and then Felton or Rondale Moore, coming in as the 3rd and 4th wide receivers, just to have some options there. So the other thing that was good with that trade, like I said, is they traded up from 187 to 140. So we got a 5th round pick while giving up the 6th round pick. So when they did that, the first player that they selected, first of all, at number 139 was Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, big defensive lineman, kind of can play anywhere along the defensive line, but just super big, athletic. I think he's listed. I think technically was listed in some of the draft information as a as a edge. But he's like 6'5", 276. So he's going to be able to play. Like I said, he can play a defensive end in the 3-4. He can kick inside on pass downs. He's somebody that I think Brian Flores was really hoping for. To get added to the defensive line. He played at Georgia, so getting somebody that with that winning pedigree is always nice as well. So hopefully he'll be as athletic as they made it sound. Like I said, let's see, 6'5", 276, ran a 4.8 640 according to the draft guidelines here. Information that I have from the Athletic. So I think he'll be a solid rotational player that can develop down the road. Then with that second 5th round pick, this was my favorite move of the draft. So what they did is they traded that 5th round pick at number 140 to Seattle to get Sam Howell to be the backup quarterback for JJ McCarthy. Love the idea because he's young, but he's got some experience. He had started in Washington before they drafted Jaden Daniels. He was ahead of Drake May on the depth chart at North Carolina. Went to Seattle and hasn't really played a lot for them there. But anyway, what was I saying here? Anyway, so we've been spent all off season saying, okay, who's going to be backing up JJ? Who's going to be the backup quarterback? All this Aaron Rodgers BS. I was like, no, I don't want him to have anything to do with the Vikings, right? That's just not going to happen. So being able to trade that pick, having enough value to get not only Sam Howell, but then they got 2 picks in the 6th round in that trade as well, where they selected linebacker Kobe Dean from Penn State and tight end Gavin Bartholomew from Pittsburgh. I think Kobe Dean was said as one of the was regarded as one of the steals of the draft. Kind of a 2-down linebacker, similar probably to Ivan Pace. Not much for being a coverage linebacker, but he'll definitely be able to contribute on special teams. And he's a hitter. And you can never go wrong with having physical linebackers for a team like that. Gavin Bartholomew, you can always use another tight end. The third tight end, Johnny Munt, signed with Jacksonville. So, and I think Nick Muse signed with somebody else as well. So you can never, again, having another tight end is always good. You need a few of them on the roster. So, and he seems to be a pretty sure-handed player. And then after the draft was over, then they started going in and getting some undrafted free agents. So I really liked some of these guys. Like, first of all, Max Rosemer from the University of Minnesota as a quarterback, developmental guy. I love this. I thought he looked really, really good with the Gophers this past year after playing like Division II, or what used to be called Division II, I don't know, FCS, something like that. Can't remember. Anyway, but out in like Maine or something like that. Came in and played really well for the Gophers. He had the probably one of the best arms I've seen from a Gophers quarterback anyway, in quite a number of years. I think he had a better arm than Tanner Morgan ever did. Probably, well, Ethan Kaliakmanis could probably throw it harder, but he threw a better catchable ball in my mind. Anyway, so bringing him in, and then there's a couple of offensive linemen that were pretty highly rated. Joe Huber from Wisconsin and Logan Brown from Kansas. Huber kind of being more of a guard, Logan Brown being more of a tackle, adding some more bodies to the offensive line. Probably on the practice squad is not a bad idea. And then adding Tyler Batty, edge from Kansas. In all, I think they signed 18 or 19, maybe even 20 undrafted free agents. Not many of them are going to make the team. A lot of them make the practice squad, and we'll see what happens after that. But there's been a number of undrafted free agents that have done well for the Vikings over the years. Adam Thielen, John Randall, the two of the best undrafted free agents in Minnesota Vikings history are, they were very successful. Heck, even Adam Thielen didn't even get a contract initially out after the draft. He was only brought in as with a tryout, and he did so well at the tryout that they cut one of the undrafted free agents that they had signed that year. The Vikings did, and made room for him on the team. So I do have a question that popped up in here from my little sister. She's like, "What are your thoughts on Shedeur sliding to the 5th round?" I know that the guys on the 3 and Out show probably cover this stuff a lot more than I do. But for me, what it says in my mind is he thinks he's a lot better than he actually is. And when he's coming into the draft and he's not taking interviews seriously, which is kind of the report that's come out since then, it sounds like he thinks he's a franchise quarterback, and, coming in with, having all of this, getting his jersey number retired makes no sense to me whatsoever. That at Colorado, come on, you played there 2 years. Your dad's the head coach. Yeah, you played well. You got some good numbers, but come on, that you should not be thinking of yourself as, oh my gosh, they have to retire my number because I am that good. And when you carry yourself that way, that's not good for a team game. If you want to be successful as a team, you got to buy into the team mentality. And that just sounds like a guy that thinks he's so much better than anybody else that you could potentially draft. And that's the way he carried himself in the interviews, from everything I've read. So not surprising when you hear about it like that. But during the draft, yeah, it was crazy. I know that we did some mock drafts here with all the guys from IESR, IE Sports Radio, and nobody had him slipping out of the first round. I think at the lowest we had him going was probably number 21 to Pittsburgh, because thinking, okay, well, they need to have a quarterback. So definitely surprising. But again, in hindsight, probably not too surprising. So anyway, let's switch gears and let's get let's talk a little bit about the Twins, okay? Because they are same old, right? I was reading an article. They're just not doing well this year. They're 13-18. They haven't flipped a switch since with the meltdown from last year, and the attendance is suffering. The attendance is down 14.3% over last year. So even with the weather, you can always contribute some of the lack of attendance to the weather. But when you're thinking last year in April, this year in April, and we're down 14.3%, that's a lot of fans just being fed up with the ownership group. And it sounds like the ownership group doesn't even get it, right? Because they had the playoff spot locked up last season, and for whatever, and part of it, the way that the whole operation was managed, and not really on the manager, but just as far as the player personnel, they were one of two teams that I believe that didn't make a trade at the trade deadline. They just sat on their hands, gave the message to their team and the fans saying, this is what we're going to spend. This is what we're going to do. We're not going to do anything to improve the team. Well, then the team tanked. Like, I think they went 27-40 to finish off the year or something like that. And now they're 13-18 this year. Looking at the records, that's probably close to the Chicago White Sox. I mean, only ahead of the Chicago White Sox during that same time frame, which is a really sad state of affairs when you think about it, right? Because it was nice that they did have just a recent hot streak. They won 5 of 6, facing the White Sox and Angels, which is great. But those are two of the worst teams in the league. They're combined 20-40 this year. So they went 5 of 6 there. Great. Okay, then they beat Cleveland in the next game, the first game of a 4-game series in Cleveland. Today they lost the third of the third game of that series. So they ended up losing the next 3 games. So they're today was in extra innings. The bullpen faltered. That's the word I was looking for. So the bullpen faltered a bit, but the bats aren't hitting. I mean, there's just the only guys that are consistently hitting fairly decently are some of the guys that they picked up in the offseason for dirt cheap. That were just like Moneyball type of signings. Like Ty France, $1 million contract. He's hitting really well. Harrison Bader, fantastic in playing defense, playing left field a lot, and is kind of the insurance just in case Byron Buxton gets hurt, or when Byron Buxton gets hurt. Who am I kidding? Those are the guys that are performing pretty well. Everybody else has been like, Royce Lewis has been injured since before the season started, but he's going to be coming back soon. So hopefully, keep my fingers crossed, he's going to be back soon. And I know he's doing some rehab in St. Paul, so hopefully he'll be back soon. Because if it is, that's always a good addition to the lineup, and if he can stay healthy, that's always great. So, but that's my show for this week, guys. Let's looking forward to we'll talk more about obviously Timberwolves, right? Looking at who they're going to be facing in the next round of the playoffs. Do they have a shot to advance to the Western Conference Finals again this year, which would be fantastic. Can't remember the last time that happened. Hopefully the Wilds will be able to continue to play well. But let's see. Looking at my phone, there's 4:27 left in the second period. Still tied at 1 goal apiece. So let's hope that the Wild can hold on tonight here at home and force a Game 7 back in Vegas here in a couple of days, and maybe even win a series. That'd be great to talk about next week if the Wild can win this series and move on. So and then let's see, there won't be much Viking stock, so we'll probably throw in we'll have some Twins talk. And one thing I want to hopefully be able to introduce next week would be a Saints spotlight with my son Noah. He's got a season-long media pass to go to the St. Paul Saints games, take photos, and I know that he's been sharing some of his photos with some of the minor league players. And even if he can't be on the show, maybe I can record something and play it during the show next week. So looking forward to that. So got lots of great things to think about. Be sure to check out our YouTube page, IE Sports Radio on YouTube. Like and subscribe to that channel or to that page. And if you do, make sure that you comment that you are subscribing because of the Bold North Breakdown. We're really trying to grow our subscribers there, so please like and subscribe the shows. Like I said, you'll be able to always find me on X at boldnorth_IESR, or on my personal X account, Gritter13. So yeah, like I said, like, subscribe, get onto that YouTube page if you haven't. I know Lynn, you came in through that YouTube page. So yeah, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful week, and enjoy the month of May. We'll be back next week, 7 o'clock Central, here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Bye, everyone.